Hi Matrix, and welcome again. Today we are going to carry on with our Matric Maths Paper 2 2018, and we are doing question 1.2, which is a statistics question. And we need our calculators for this. So I've got our two calculators here that most of you have, either the silver calculator or the FX82. I know a lot of people have both because they realized that they wanted the silver calculator because that helps a little bit when we are doing our quadratic equations. But the FX82 will do fine. So what I want to do is to make sure that we are in the right mode. So we go mode and we go to the stats mode, and it's one variable. Now you'll notice here that I've got no frequency table, which is fine for this question. But because I can put in the values, so I'd put in 35 for the first value, 70 for the next value, etc. But what I like to do is to make sure that your calculator has a frequency, has the frequency table on, because for this question you've got a frequency of 2 for 100, but you could just put in hundreds separately, and the calculator would automatically add the frequency of 1, because each item is just once. But if you get a question with a frequency table in, it's handy that it's already in the mode with a frequency. So what I'm going to do is on our FX82, I'm going to put that frequency table on just to show you how it looks. So we'd go Shift Setup, and then we scroll down to Stat, and we put our frequency table on 1. And just keep it on. So before you go into the exam and throughout your matric, just have the frequency table on always. So we're going to look on the left-hand side, we're going to work with. And then the silver calculator, you could just see that it would be exactly the same thing. I would say Shift and Setup. Let me actually just do it quickly. And we go to number 4. And we put our frequency table on. Okay, but it's cleared my data. But you can see that if I was to enter in the data, it just adds a frequency of 1 anyway. So keep the frequency table on. Okay, so I'm going to use the FX82 calculator because that's what most of you are using. I've showed you on the silver calculator exactly how to put in the data as well. So on the right-hand side, you've seen it. I could just carry on, 75 equals, and then I would say Shift and 1 to look at the data. So let's look now at the FX82 calculator, and we go Mode, and now Stats mode, and it's one variable. So now we are ready to put in our data. 35 equals, to put in the first data item, 70 equals, and we just keep going. I'm going to skip ahead and carry on doing that. Okay, so now I've put in my data, so I can just check through. So 125, 120, 115, 110, 110, 105, 105, 100, 100, 90, 80, 80, 75, 70. Okay, so all the data is in there. So now I can get my mean, and it's all in the calculator now stored. So I can say Shift and number 1, and I would do that on the same on the silver calculator. And I'm looking for my VAR, my variables. So I can find that here, number 5, and then N is the mean. N is the number, X, N is the mean, that little X with a line on the top is the mean, and then the standard deviation is going to be number 3. This is a little bit different to what you have on your calculator. What you would be looking for is to use the it looks like an O with a little dash on the top. You're going to use that, okay? Not the S. the O with a little dash on the top. Okay, so let's just repeat that now. So the data, if we want to look at it, is over here. Okay, so we put it all in here, and we just say clear. It doesn't clear it. It's still stored. Shift, stat, and we go to 5. And this thing in the middle of the X and the N, that is what you're looking for when you put in to get your standard deviation. Now they want the mean, which is number 2, so we say 2 equals, and so we know our mean is 94,6 occurring. So if you say 94,66667, okay, and then to get our standard deviation, we say shift, stat again, and let's go back to and we take number 3, and so we know that our standard deviation is going to be 90. Oh, that's not our standard deviation. We just have to say equals, and then we get 22,69. Okay, your standard deviation is the same as the mean. You've got problems. Because then you've got very inaccurate data. Okay, so I've jotted those down. Okay, so just remember you're looking for the standard deviation and the mean. And so now what we can do is we can write some stuff down. Okay, so 1.2.1, oops. 1.2.1a is mean is equal to 22,69. We got that off our calculator. B, the standard deviation, that's what the button you're looking for in your calculator. This one here is, I've done it the wrong way around. Mean was 94,667. Our standard deviation was 22,69. I think it was 691. Oh, it's over there. And 1.2.2 says, that's 1.2.2 says, Mary also worked on the same day and she made the same amount of money, but her standard deviation was less. So comment on the total. Well, the total amount would have been the same because the mean was the same. So it would have been 14 times 94. So the total would have been times 90,67. So it would have been the same. Okay. And then 1.2.2, sorry, 1.2.2, yeah, A, 1.2.2B, the variation. Well, the greater the standard deviation, the bigger it is, the more variance in the data, because it means that you have the middle and then the deviation, which is what it differs from the mean, what each data item differs from the mean, is going to be bigger if the deviation is bigger. So our standard deviation with Reggie was much larger, which means that to comment, you can say that Mary had a smaller deviation therefore therefore less variance. Okay, so that was mostly calculator work. Hopefully it helped. If it did, please like the video and subscribe so that I can send you notifications about when we add more past papers and more videos to help you get a great matric result. So all the best, and we'll see you again soon.